The C-130 started as a cargo plane in 1956, but in 1969, the Air Force bolted experimental sensors and a prototype computer into it and sent it hunting alone over the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Vietnam. They called it Thor. In 5 months, that single aircraft destroyed or damaged over 800 trucks. The other 7 AC-130s in theater averaged 357 each. AC stands for attack cargo. The AC-130 is slow, enormous, and flies in predictable circles. It mounts a howitzer sideways out of a transport aircraft. It breaks every rule of modern air combat. And for 59 years, it has been one of the most requested platforms in the US military. This is how a cargo plane became the most feared close air support weapon ever built. Every other attack aircraft flies toward a target, fires, and flies away. The AC-130 flies in a continuous left-hand circle called a pylon turn, with every weapon aimed inward at a single point on the ground. It's NASCAR with a howitzer, except the people in the middle aren't spectators. This maneuver is the reason the gunship exists. A conventional jet gets seconds over a target. The AC-130 gets hours. In close air support, where friendly and hostile positions might be 50 meters apart, time on station is everything. The concept started in 1964 with miniguns bolted into a World War II transport. The AC-47 Spooky proved the gunship idea worked. It also proved it needed a bigger airframe. In 1967, the Air Force selected the C-130 Hercules and launched Project Gunship 2. The prototype went from modification to combat in Vietnam within 6 months. But the real leap was Thor. The Air Force loaded it with a 40mm Bofors cannon for higher altitude engagement, a digital fire control computer, and a sensor called Black Crow. Black Crow was a magnetic anomaly detector designed to find submarines. Someone pointed it at a jungle and discovered it could detect the electromagnetic pulse of a truck ignition through triple canopy foliage. They took a sensor designed to find submarines and pointed it at a jungle. The engineering term for this is creative repurposing. The military term is, we ran out of budget for a new one. Thor flew 33 missions in 38 days during its evaluation and destroyed nearly 200 trucks. Then it kept hunting for 5 more months. And it proved something critical. The AC-130 wasn't a gun platform that happened to carry sensors. It was a sensor platform that happened to carry guns. That distinction is why it's still flying today. But the AC-130's greatest vulnerability was about to produce the technology that now protects every large military aircraft in the American fleet. The original AC-130A carried miniguns and Vulcan cannons, effective against soft targets, not enough against armor. The E model changed that by mounting an M102 105mm howitzer inside the airframe. The M102 was a towed field howitzer, emphasis on field. As in, it was designed to sit on the ground. Someone decided it would work better at 7,000 feet, firing sideways, out of a moving aircraft. That person received a promotion. A vehicle hit by a 105mm round had a 10% chance of remaining operational. The howitzer also let the crew engage from 12,000 meters, well beyond the range of most ground fire. Each generation, the H model Spectre, the U model Spooky, asked the same question: what does the battlefield need now? The U model answered by engaging 2 targets simultaneously with twice the ammunition. The airframe absorbed every answer. January 1991, the Battle of Khafji, Iraqi armored columns pushing into Saudi Arabia. The C-130s were the first to engage, helping stop the advance. Over 2 days, gunships hammered Iraqi reinforcements. By the early hours of January 31st, one AC-130H, callsign Spirit 03, was still overhead. The crew knew the doctrine. The gunship operates at night. Darkness is its armor. As the sun approached the horizon, they had every reason to break off. Marines were still engaged below. Spirit 03 stayed. A single Iraqi soldier with a Strela 2 shoulder-fired missile brought the aircraft down. 14 crew members lost. The AC-130's fundamental trade-off made real. The thing that makes it lethal, low, slow, persistent, is the same thing that makes it vulnerable. The loss catalyzed the development of the AN/AAQ, 24 DIRCM, the Directed Infrared Countermeasures System, a laser designed to blind the seeker heads of incoming infrared missiles. 1 shoulder-fired missile, 14 crew members. And the Department of Defense suddenly found the funding for a laser countermeasure system it had been studying for years. Remarkable how that works. That system is now standard across the entire US large military aircraft fleet. Every transport, every tanker that carries that turret traces a direct line back to a crew that wouldn't leave. The current variant, the AC-130J Ghost Rider, is the most radical evolution yet. It carries a 30mm Bushmaster cannon, the legacy 105mm howitzer, and for the first time, precision-guided munitions. Hellfires, small-diameter bombs, and Griffin missiles fired from launch tubes built into the rear ramp. 416 miles per hour, 3,000-mile range, 28,000-foot ceiling. The Air Force tried to mount a laser weapon on it. That program failed when airstream turbulence shredded the beam. But the shift matters. The Ghost Rider is no longer just a gun platform, it's a hybrid. Cannons for close work, guided munitions for standoff, and the same pylon turn that worked over the Ho Chi Minh Trail in 1967. The AC-130 has spent 59 years adapting to every war it was thrown into. But the question now isn't whether it can adapt again. It's whether the wars it dominates are the ones anyone is planning for. AFSOC is debating whether to remove the 105mm howitzer from the Ghost Rider. They're eyeing an AESA radar, small cruise missiles, and networking upgrades. The logic: in a Pacific war against China, an aircraft flying predictable circles at medium altitude would not survive modern integrated air defenses. And they're right. $165 million per aircraft. And the biggest debate in special operations right now is whether to remove the one weapon that makes it a gunship. Somewhere, a Pentagon budget analyst just felt a warm sense of purpose. But the AC-130 isn't obsolete. It dominates the wars actually being fought. Counter-terrorism, special operations, Syria, Iraq, Africa. The battlefield it owns just isn't the one the Pentagon wants to budget for. And it dominates for a reason the specs don't capture. Loiter time and precision beat speed and stealth in most real engagements. Hours of presence. A crew watching the battlefield evolve in real time. A howitzer, a cannon, guided missiles, and the judgment to choose between them in seconds. That combination does not exist on any other platform flying. When drones eventually inherit this mission, and they will, they'll bring endurance without judgment, volume without versatility. Would you trade an AC-130 with a howitzer, a cannon, precision missiles, and a crew that can switch between them in seconds, for a drone swarm that never gets tired, but only carries one trick at a time? Drop your answer in the comments. Go check out one of our other videos. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until the next one, over and out.